Welcome to Armchair Italy, the podcast for travelers who want to discover the true heart of Italy before they arrive. If you're planning a trip to Bel Paese, you're in the right place. In our Chiacchierare segments, we chat with the local experts and passionate creators from the Armchair Italy travel directory. From hidden horseback trails and artisan cooking classes to language courses and hot air balloon rides, our directory covers over 100 categories. Stay tuned to discover the authentic side of Italy and a few beautiful surprises along the way. Joining me today are Clara and Martina, two of my wonderful Italian teachers and founders of My Italian Room, where I have been studying Italian for over 2 years. It has been amazing. I thought they're the two perfect guests to kick off the Armchair Italy podcast because they've helped me realize my dream of speaking Italian. If you want to learn to speak Italian, then My Italian Room is a must. You're going to love Clara and Martina, and I hope by the end of today's episode you'll be signing up for My Italian Room too. Let's get started. Grazie per oggi. Sono nervoso, è molto emozionante oggi. Ma è strano perché dobbiamo parlare in inglese, normalmente parliamo in italiano, ma perché i miei ascoltatori forse non parlano italiano ancora.
Ancora, bravo.
Ancora. So, grazie voi. So, forse in inglese adesso. It's strange actually.
Sì.
Because I have to... When I see you, I switch right away to Italian, and so I have to practice. I'm going to slip in and out, I think.
Esatto,
maybe.
to us, Antonio, you are Antonio, you're not Anthony, you're Antonio, so who is this new person? We don't know him.
Who is this person? Right. Well, thank you very much for being my first guest on episode 1 of Armchair Italy. It's my podcast to support armchairitaly.com, and it helps people discover Italy before experiencing Italy, and that includes speaking the language, all the wonderful food, the culture. I'm really excited about this new venture, and I thought, what two better guests in the world than you two who's helped my Italian tremendously. I've been a student for 2 years now, maybe?
Mm-hmm. Yes, 2 years.
Yeah. And I think my Italian has improved.
Yeah.
I like to believe that. Thank you both for that very much. And thanks for being on the show. We can dive in, maybe introducing yourselves in My Italian Room.
First, thank you so much for inviting us. We love you. You know that.
Yes.
Not just because you're a student, but because you represent what My Italian Room is. So the consistency, the always showing up, and we love your positivity. So we love to hear everything about your cooking and your life, and it's a pleasure to be here, and hopefully we can talk about food later. I'm Martina. I'm Italian, originally from Emilia-Romagna. It's a beautiful region in the north of Italy. I come from a small village, not a lot of people know about it, but I can tell you that it's not far from Modena and Bologna, and I know that they're quite well known because of the food, Ferrari, Lamborghini, the history. But I've been living in England for the past 7 years, and this is why I have this sort of British-Italian accent that people don't really understand at first. So they're like, why do you speak like that? Well, it's a long story. And together with Clara, I co-founded My Italian Room.
Yeah, and I am Clara, and I'm very, very excited to be here, and thank you so much, Antonio, for having us. And we're very, very excited and happy because I agree with Martina and you, Antonio, represent everything that, and I mean, our values and, being consistent and being passionate, extremely passionate about Italy and everything Italian. So we're very, very excited to be here. And I was born in a very small village in the north of Italy, very close to Lake Como and also very close to the border with Switzerland. So it's not very famous. It's called the Morbegno. Recently, though, it has become famous because of the Winter Olympics, sort of famous, let's say. And and I've been teaching Italian since 2019, something like this, and it's my passion. I'm a very passionate teacher, and I'm very, very happy to be here.
Thank you both very much. I was thinking back, 2 years has gone by very quickly. And I remember I was so nervous on my very first lesson. I learned the best part is making the mistakes while learning to speak Italian. And I think that most people learning any language, not just Italian, you really do have to dive in head first. I don't think baby steps maybe at the very beginning when you're learning like the absolute basics, but you have to speak. If you don't speak, I don't think you can mentally connect the dots. Mm-hmm. And then you get caught up or like panicked when people speak to you back. You don't hear anything because all the blood rushes to your head and then you get nervous. So my Italian room has helped change all of that, where I can communicate and I'm not afraid of making mistakes. Mm-hmm. And I enjoy the process of making the mistakes, quite frankly. That's where I feel like I learn the most, is those little mistakes and the adjustments. And everyone's so helpful and nice. So it's been wonderful.
Yeah, it's good to know.
Thanks for being such great teachers for me.
Oh, Antonio,
thank you. I do love that because, and that's why I said before that you align so much with what we do, because mistakes are our superpower. So our motto is that speaking a foreign language is a superpower, right? We take it for granted, but it's not easy and it can change your life, and being able to do it is incredible. But the only way you learn is by speaking and making those mistakes. So no one speaks perfectly. We all make mistakes, even native speakers. So when you think about Italian, it changes so much depending on the region where you're from. So there's no such a thing as speaking perfectly. So that's a message that we really want people to understand. You need to just jump in, speak, find the right people to do it with and do it in the right way. But ultimately not really being afraid of those mistakes or not wanting to be perfect. It's hard, right? Because
yeah.
I am a language student myself. I have to speak English every day because I live in the UK and I'm studying Portuguese. And sometimes I do want to be like a native speaker, right? I do want to speak perfectly, but that's just not reality. And you have to let go of that. And that's when you start enjoying the process and the friends that you make along the way.
Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to add that, Antonio, I remember, I think, the first lesson that we had together. And you were saying your sentence and you were like, scusi, I'm sorry. scusi. We could have, like played a game, like drink something every time Antonio says scusi. Okay?
Yeah, that's true.
We could have done that. And then I remember saying, okay, Antonio, enough with the scusi. Like, no more I'm sorry in this lesson. We're here to practice and speak. And no more. That was a fun thing that I always remember. Whenever I see you, say scusi. No, there's no such a thing as scusi.
I was so nervous, but what's great, I think, is that there's three people, so you have plenty of time to talk, plenty of time to listen, because I think that's the other part of learning Italian is actively listening, not thinking so much about what I'm going to say, but actually listening to people speak, so you're comfortable and not stressed out about what you're going to say. With three people, the balance is just right, so everyone has a chance to do a little bit of all of those things. That's what's helped me the most, but the conversation in the classroom online every week is great because it's so well balanced. How did you decide to get started with My Italian Room?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it was a long journey. It wasn't straightforward, but we knew from the beginning that we wanted to create something different because Clara and I both started teaching Italian online, but we were both language students. We're still learning languages, right? And we knew that it just wasn't right the way languages were taught because you either have apps where you don't really interact with people, you just go through video lessons, but a language is made to be spoken. Or if you join a course, you're often in an overcrowded classroom space, so either online or in person, you have a lot of people. The teacher might be stressed out because they have to think about so many things, right? And you don't really have time to speak, or you don't really have time to get the feedback that you need to make progress. So I remember, for example, when I first moved abroad, I went to Portugal and I took many hours of Portuguese in university. And when I moved in with my flatmates, I couldn't understand a single word. They were talking to me and I was like, yeah, okay, yes, 100%, ha ha ha. That's very funny. I have no idea what you said. And it was through practice and people helping me out, telling me, all right, maybe you shouldn't say it that way, you could say it this way, that I grew my confidence. So that's when I learned, for example, that the more you speak, the more confident you become. But what we always say is that it's not just the way you speak, because sometimes we think, okay, you have to speak, but it's also doing it in the right way. So we tested the conversation course a lot before getting to the right recipe. So we collected feedback. You must know that we always ask students for feedback and we read every single comment, every single piece of feedback, because we want to create something different. We want to create something that truly helps people to speak Italian confidently. So to us, it was non-negotiable that people could have a space where first they were seen as individuals. So I'm Antonio, my teacher knows me, she knows what I like, what I don't like, she knows my learning style, and I want to be seen in every single lesson. I want to have the space to speak, interact with others, and I want the time to make friends. So that's why, for example, we could change the format of the course and we could say every week you join a different class with different people, but we don't want that. We want you to make friends along the way. So to us, small group learning is life-changing. Making friends is what you need, and having someone who can support you as well. So being there for you in terms of having the right mindset, not being afraid of making mistakes, but also giving you the corrections that you need in the right way. So it came from our experience, but we were able to master it through the feedback of our students, because it's important to listen to what people want. And it's always more or less the same. They just want a safe space where they can have fun and speak this beautiful language.
You both went to school and studied languages in university, right? In Italy, both of you?
Yeah, we met at the University of Bologna. First day of classes. We just happened to sit next to each other, and as I always say, I fell in love with Martina. No, we just first day, first class. It was Italian literature, and the University of Bologna is renowned for many things, but also for foreign languages and literature. That's the proper name of our faculty. And Martina was studying Portuguese and English. I was studying Polish and English, so we had some classes together. And we clicked, I guess. So we became friends. We were, and we still are, very, very different, though.
Yeah.
But we are, the two halves of an apple, So that's the perfect match, I would say. Sisi.
Yeah, we're very, very different. Clara was a party girl, and I was getting up at 6 a.m, going for a run, having my coffee, reading the newspaper, and off to classes. So very, very different.
Yeah, and class would start at 8 a.m. and I'd wake up at 7:30 just in case, just to be there. So Martina and I were the complete opposite, but opposite attracts, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what they say?
I love that.
Yeah. Well, I think what really connected us was this amazing thing that we did during university. So we both took part in the Erasmus program. The Erasmus program is funded by the European Union, and it's incredible because you get the opportunity to live and work in another country for an entire year. Well, it's more like you live and you study, then you can do an internship. You don't really work. But you have to think that, we were studying languages, we love traveling, foreign languages, different cultures, so we couldn't wait to leave. And Clara went to Poland, I went to Portugal, and it was a life-changing experience that really shaped what my Italian room would become later. So that really connected us, and after that experience, after graduating, we both started teaching Italian online, and that's when we were like, oh, there's something missing, right? We want to create something different. So it was during the pandemic that we really reconnected because of that common experience of living abroad, struggling with the language, teaching online, and seeing that things were not right. So, we were different, but we did share, and we still share, the same values and the same passions, and that really helps.
The conversation room is one aspect of my Italian room. There's different layers now. I think all of them fit so neatly into the process.
Thank you. Yes, so the conversation room is our core program, what we're famous for, let's say, because again, it's all about speaking in the right way in small groups. But we do understand that some people might require more flexibility, and that's why we've recently introduced a new course, a new membership, which is called Italian in Action. And we love Italian in Action because it gives you access to a library of video lessons where you where we really tackle like common mistakes. So those mistakes that come up again and again. So we really work on that to just get rid of them. Then we teach people how to speak more authentically as well. Not just in terms of like asking questions, introducing yourself, but also in terms of like, let's say that I'm in Italy and I want to order something, or I'm not feeling well and I need to go see a doctor. What can I say? What would an Italian person say in this case? But we believe in the power of speaking, right? So we don't just give you access to the library of video lessons, we also give you access to 2 live sessions with us every single month. And everyone gets a chance to speak. So that's very important. The conversation room is more like weekly. So you have 1 lesson every single week. With Italian in Action, you have more flexibility, but you still have the space to speak and interact with others, because that's very, very important. So those are the 2 programs that we recommend if you really want to work on like speaking and becoming more confident. But then we have other courses, and when we created them, we really thought about what people needed to speak confidently when in Italy. So for example, a course that complements very well the conversation room and Italian in Action is the Italian writing room. And people think about writing and they're like, oh, I don't want to write in Italian. Come on, that's so boring. Why should I write a text in Italian? What am I going to talk about? But actually, if you do it in the right way, it's incredibly powerful, because we give you all the resources that you need, everything that you need to write your text. We talk about topics that are interesting. It could be the news, it could be current events, or something about culture. And we give you personalized corrections for each text that you write. So you really have the chance to slow down, understand your mistakes, understand your vocabulary, what you could say instead of what you've said. So that's incredibly powerful. And then we also know that a lot of people don't really understand Italians when they speak, because we speak very fast. So we wanted to create something for people who needed maybe more flexibility and wanted to work on their listening skills. And that's why we created Italian in Your Ears. Italian in Your Ears is completely self-paced, but we give you access to the community, because that's important, right? And it's a course where you really have the chance to work on your listening skills through audios. So we asked some friends and family members from all over Italy. So we got 6 different accents from the south to the north to talk about a topic, right? A topic that you might hear them talking about in real life. So when you go to Italy, you need to have a conversation with a friend. And so you listen to that audio and then you do some activities, because it's not just about listening more, it's about, again, listening in the right way. So sometimes you really have to slow down, re-listen to the audio, do the activities, work on the vocabulary. So whenever we create something, we think about not just, again, that authentic element, the speaking factor, but also the structure that people need. Because sometimes if we don't have that structure, it's easy to get lost. It's easy to be like, oh, I'm doing so much, but why am I not reaching the goal? And the reason why is because you don't have the right structure in place. So all our courses, all our programs include the structures that you need to succeed. Clara, do you want to add something about this? I know that.
Yeah, I would also like to add that everything that we offer, like each course at My Italian Room, is backed by like proven science and methodologies and techniques, something that we have studied for years during our studies at university. So everything that we do is extremely follows a method, of course, but also is backed by like proven science, proven methods. So we know how to do things and how to deliver content. So we didn't want to create like a group of courses, like just courses and without a structure, without a logic. We really wanted to take people from point A to point B, and then we wanted them to feel supported in the process. And a way of showing up for our students is, of course, giving them access to the community and giving them access to us, but also giving them access to like proper structured courses. That's what that is key to us. That's one of our core beliefs, 100%.
I love meeting the new students because it gives me the opportunity to learn from them as well. They have learned in different ways, so I learn different approaches, a new vocabulary from them. And I especially actually like going back, and sometimes the topic will come up a second time that we've covered in a previous session, perhaps not in the same section, but maybe from 6 months ago or something.
Yeah.
And I love going back and revisiting them because I get to challenge my not only my speaking ability, but my vocabulary. Gives me the ability to refresh what I've learned. And Italian in Action has helped me quite a bit. You can do it whenever. So I'll try to, instead of death scrolling through Facebook or Instagram, I'll sit down for 10 minutes and do Italian in Action. And it really does help. It's been so much fun learning with you both. And I look forward to continuing until you tell me not to come anymore.
That won't happen, don't worry. We do love you, so that won't happen.
No, that won't happen.
But I do love what you said about, first of all, meeting new students, because I do see a lot of people who say, oh, private lessons are so much better for you because you really work on what you need. And don't get me wrong, private lessons are important, but I do think that you get more when you practice with others, because when you go to Italy, you hear so many different accents, so many different ways of speaking. So you don't want to get used to someone too much. You want that challenge of being able to understand different accents, different ways of speaking. So learning with others is incredible, not just because you can make friends, you get, that motivation that sometimes you don't always have, but also because you get used to the real Italian. And also you mentioned about reviewing things. That's something that sometimes we don't truly appreciate, but reviewing what you've studied is essential, because there's so much that you have to remember that sometimes you have to go back, and that's when you make common mistakes. So we all make some mistakes, right? That come back over and over, and that's sometimes because we don't take the time to slow down, go back to what we studied when we first started, and really work on those, for example, key prepositions or key verbs. So reviewing and going back sometimes is what enables you to move forward, to get rid of the common mistakes and to get that confidence that you need. So 100% love what you said.
How do people get started with my Italian room? I think people sometimes think I'm such a beginner that I couldn't start.
We do help people who are beginners, advanced students. So one thing about the conversation room, for example, is that you can join if you're a beginner. So we do want to help you as soon as possible. And sometimes you don't find that in conversation courses. They don't really do the courses for beginners because they wait until you're ready. But the reality is that the sooner you start speaking, the better. So we've also recently added a course for absolute beginners. So if you've never studied Italian before, you can join the Italian Starter Program, take some video lessons, and also take speaking classes with us. So again, we get you speaking in a safe space as soon as we possibly can. And the first step, if people want to learn with us, is really booking a free consultation with us. To us, it's very important to get to know the student, because sometimes what you need is completely different from what I need. So understanding their goals, what they like, what they don't like, whether they prefer, for example, more flexibility or they need more consistency. So the first step is always booking that free consultation with us. It's only 15 minutes, no commitment, and it's just a nice chat to understand what's best for you, because there's so much out there that it's easy to get lost and end up joining a program and then another, and you don't get the results that you want. And I think that's also why our students tend to stay with us. So we have an amazing retention rate. You mentioned before that you've been studying with us for 2 years, and sometimes, what we see is that a student joins our school and then they tend to stay, because to us every student matters. You're not just a number, so you're joining a community of people who are ready to support you. So that would be the first step. We do also have a newsletter. Clara, do you want to share more about the newsletter?
Yeah, we have a weekly newsletter that goes out every Sunday, and it covers everything from culture, food, habits, fashion, art, everything. So if you're passionate about Italy and everything Italian, that should be definitely your starting point. The newsletter is 100% in Italian. Don't be scared, because it's still very approachable, and I highly recommend to start from there, because you get a lot. You can get a lot from it every Sunday, just straight through your inbox. And what I do love about the newsletter is that I know that students have it like a sort of ritual, so they read it every Sunday. So we receive messages saying, oh, I always read the newsletter while I'm having my coffee, for example, or I'm outside sitting in the garden and reading the newsletter. So it really becomes like part of your study routine in a very natural way. So it's the perfect place to start. Yes.
It's exactly what I do every Sunday. As I start my day, I read the newsletter. I listen to the newsletter. I'll work through the little exercises, there's vocabulary, and then putting everything you learn to use. So it's a really good way to start the week. And then I have a conversation room. Then I do Italian in action. All of it is great, and it's really been a joy. Thank you for everything, because now my confidence for Italian is improved. I feel like I can have a conversation and be fine. I have a long way to go. Before I ask the last question, I would like to say that I think my Italian room has taught me to love the process of learning Italian. You guys have done a wonderful, wonderful job.
Thank you
Especially
so
for my
much.
Italian.
Thank you so much, Antonio.
And it's also not just what we do, but what you do as well, right? Showing up every single week and putting in the work. And sometimes you don't have to overdo it. You don't want to end up being burnt out and hating every single exercise. So I think your story proves that you just need to show up every single week and try to have fun, and you can do it.
Just in closing, do you have a favorite dish or a favorite site or a favorite something for people visiting Italy that you would which we both recommend?
Oh, yes, we do. So first thing for me, so I think that a must-see place is Venice. You have to go to Venice at least once in a lifetime. Like Venice, like no matter how many times you visit or there's just something magic about Venice. Like the story, the city is unique, the architecture is unique, and you cannot really find anything like that in the world. I mean, I heard that in Las Vegas they have something, but it's not quite the same.
It's not the same thing. Yeah.
No,
not the same.
Yeah, jokes aside, like you really have to go to Venice. The culture there is great. The food is great. Wine is great. Aperitivo is great. Like really, really go to Venice and enjoy every little thing. And as far as my favorite food is concerned, I think that my favorite dish is farinata, which is a simple chickpea flatbread that comes from Liguria, but you can also find it like in Tuscany, for example, or even in Sicily, they just with different names. And I love farinata because it's the perfect example of Italian cuisine, because it, simple ingredients like chickpea flour, salt, olive oil, water, and that's it, basically. Simple ingredients transformed into something absolutely delicious.
Thank you, Claire. That's wonderful. I appreciate that. And Martina.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm from Emilia-Romagna and I love my region, right? So, of course, I'm going to be talking about that. I think when I think about the hills of my region, that's something that I miss. I live in England and it's all quite flat, right? And when I go back and I see the hills, I just feel that connection. I think it's a beautiful region. Maybe not a lot of people go because they tend to go to the major cities such as Rome or Florence, but Emilia-Romagna is truly beautiful. In terms of food, my region is incredible for that. And something that reminds me of my childhood, something that I can really find abroad would be tortellini in brodo. So the little pasta in broth. I don't know how to describe it. So we have them every Christmas. We have them in the winter when it's cold outside. So it reminds me of my childhood, happy memories, and just my family. It's something that I always have when I go back. And I always put a bit of Parmigiano on top of them because we produce it in my region. So it's something that, again, reminds me of home and Italy and very, very tasty. So, yeah, just go to Bologna and you'll have fun.
There's really no place to go in Italy that you're not going to have great food. But Emilia-Romagna, I have to say, is phenomenal for what they call La Grassa, right? La Grassa, La Rossa, and I'm missing one.
La Dotta, for the university. So
yes.
La Grassa, La Rossa,
Yeah, it's also funny because it's the colors of the city as well, like the colors of Bologna, right? La Rossa, because of the colors of the buildings. So it's very warm. Again, it's that family vibe, that warmth that you don't get everywhere. So
yeah. And Clara, ti vivi a Roma adesso, sì, perché ti piace Roma o non ti piace Roma? Perché è grande città, molto ospiti, sempre.
Rispondo in italiano e in inglese, Antonio.
Italiano, per favore.
Italiano.
Perché no?
Sì. No, allora, è una relazione amore-odio, a love-hate relationship. No. So, I love Rome. It's not the easiest city to live in, to be honest, but it has so much to offer. Like Rome is incredible. It really is. And what I always say is that Rome can be like a difficult city to live in, but you always forgive her. Like you always forgive Rome.
Yeah.
So, but definitely go there at least once in a lifetime. Venice and Rome.
Clara, Martina, thank you so very much. I really appreciate everything today. I know you're both very busy with preparing for lessons and teaching and everything. So it's very kind of you to take time out of your very busy day and schedule to join me on my first episode, hopefully of many episodes of Armchair Italian.
Yes.
Thank you both very much.
Grazie. Thank you so much, Antonio, e buona fortuna.
Grazie a voi. Bocca al lupo. Ciao. And just like a scarpetta, we took our last delicious bite and we're at the end of our episode. Thank you for hanging out with me on the Armchair Italy podcast. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our next episode. And if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a review. It really helps other Armchair Italy travelers find their way to my podcast. Until next time, keep dreaming of the Dolomites, keep your pasta al dente, and remember, you don't need a passport to live the sweet life. You just need to visit armchairitaly.com. Grazie e ciao for now.